Okay, what would you pay for a drug that would lower your risk of getting various cancers, including breast cancer, that would boost your immune system, lower your risk of osteoporosis, boost your cardiovascular health, stop you getting from migraine headaches, regulate your serotonin levels and therefore decrease your depression and anxiety, increase your brain health and significantly lower your risk of dementia? What would you pay me if I had a drug to give you right now that would do all of those things? Hi, my name's Christine L. Conroy. Welcome to Happy Stuff and Fluff, a channel for women who are getting happy, living longer and growing younger. And welcome to all my new subscribers. I'm very pleased that you're here sharing this journey with us. Well, what would you pay? Well, you would pay a fortune. I would pay a fortune if I had it. I would pay a fortune if I had it. Well, I'm sure you know what I'm going to say next. You don't have to pay a fortune for it. That's what we're talking about today. But first of all, I want to talk about vitamin D. This is just so exciting. I've been dying to tell you about this. Now, those of you who are new will not realise that I have been quite evangelical about taking vitamin D supplements, and so I have a playlist on the subject, and I'll leave the link down below to some videos if you haven't seen those. So we've talked many times on this channel about the dangers of being low in vitamin D, and hopefully many of you have started to take supplements. Low levels of vitamin D have been linked to the development of dozens of diseases, a variety of cancers including breast cancer, but also diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, and we know that vitamin D plays a crucial role in immune function and inflammation. We are finally, despite the fact that it may not have filtered down to your local GP, we are finally beginning to realise the incredible health benefits that vitamin D has to offer. But wait until you hear this. Wait until you hear this. So there's been a new study come out, so new, February 2023, and this is the study. It's a study from Canada, and it's called Vitamin D Supplementation and Incident Dementia, Effects of Sex, APOE, which is the well-known gene that's associated with Alzheimer's risk, and baseline cognitive status. Now, this study was done over 10 years. It was done over 10 years. It had 12,388 participants of an average age of 71. So a massive, significant study. So many people, over 12,000 and done for 10 years is just amazing. Now, I don't have time to go into great detail about the study, but I am going to leave a link to it down below, and I implore you to have a look at it. I know they can be dry, these papers. You can skip through and go to the most important parts if you like. I have pulled out some highlights for you so that we can have a look at those. Let me just show you these. So this is the name of the study, and these are just some of the highlights. So vitamin D effects were significantly greater in females versus males. We'll come back to that in a second. I won't read through all of this. I wanted to bring that to your attention. And then also the bottom there, it says vitamin D has potential for dementia prevention, especially in the high risk strata. But listen to this. This was the outcome of the study. Vitamin D exposure, so that's obviously they had groups, people who took the vitamin D and people who didn't, over 10 years. Vitamin D exposure was associated with a 40% lower dementia incidence versus those who had no vitamin D at all. I'm going to say that again. Those who had vitamin D exposure, the vitamin D exposure was associated with a 40% lower dementia incidence versus no exposure at all. I'm like, oh my goodness, I practically wept when I read that. I mean, it's just incredible when you think, and this is according to the World Health Organization, globally, the numbers of people living with dementia will increase from 55 million in 2020 to 79 million in 2030 and 139 million people in 2050. That will be the number of people living with dementia. This is not to mention the people around them. The suffering. And here we have this study of 12,000 over 10 years. And here we have the evidence that vitamin D exposure was associated with a 40% lower dementia incidence. I mean, when you look at the numbers, it's just beyond. And I can't understand why it isn't being splattered all over the news. I really can't. I hope so. I hope that now we've got this incredible landmark study that they're going to sit up and start looking at this and taking notice. I mean, is it because it's vitamin D and it's readily available and it's cheap, and do people think it can't possibly work? Well, here's the evidence. Here's the evidence that it does what it says on the tin, what we've been talking about all of this time. But dementia, this is a new study, and I just think it's beyond exciting the way we're going at the moment. But obviously, it's like I said to you before, knowledge is not power, it's the action that's power. And so now we know these things. The World Health Organization ought to be taking action. So, just going back to where it talks about the fact that these vitamin D effects were significantly greater in females, let me read a piece that I've lifted from the study, word for word. They say, so while exposure to vitamin D was associated with significantly lower dementia incidence in both males and females, the sex-specific difference was so statistically significant. The effect of vitamin D exposure was greater in females than males. This finding might be explained by the associations of estrogen and activated vitamin D and declining levels of estrogen in aging females. Evidence has shown that estrogen may increase the activity of the enzymes responsible for activating vitamin D. Subsequently, it can be hypothesized. I knew I'd struggle with that word. Subsequently, it can be hypothesized that declining levels of estrogen in peri- and post-menopausal stages could contribute to vitamin D deficiency in females. So that's the reason that they think that they give for that, which I thought was quite interesting. So we're talking there about vitamin D, and I've been taking vitamin D for years, but my protocol has changed. My supplemental protocol has changed really significantly quite recently, but I've always been taking vitamin D, and then I added the next thing I want to talk about, which is vitamin K2. So, if we can have a look at vitamin K2. Now, many of you already are taking this, I know, because we've talked about it before. But this K2, I want to talk about this because, amongst other things, vitamin K2 helps to maintain the elasticity of blood vessels, which is reported to be beneficial in post-menopausal women. just we're talking about the ageing female and postmenopausal women, which I guess is what we are. One study shows that in postmenopausal women, K2 also led to slower age-related decreases in bone mineral density. Now, when we talk about getting older, and I asked you guys, what is it that you worry most about? Things like osteoporosis, broken bones, falling was high on the list, dementia, of course, and cancer and heart disease. These are the four biggies, which we become more and more susceptible to as aging females. Aging females, yeah. So that interested me that K2 also leads to this slower related decrease in bone mineral density. It particularly interests me because when I was going through the menopause, I didn't use HRT, much to my doctor's dismay, because at that point they were saying that not taking HRT could well make me more susceptible to osteoporosis, which causes so many women lots and lots of hurt and pain and so on. And so this is a particular interest to me. So taken together, vitamin D3 and K2 enhance the benefits of each other. So together they are stronger than the separate parts. K2 ensures that the calcium made available by vitamin 3 actually goes to the bone where it's needed. And K2 and vitamin D3 also work together to greatly boost the immune system. So we're getting there, stay to the end, because this drug that I'm talking about, which isn't a drug at all, but that does all those things I mentioned at the beginning of the video, actually exists. I'm taking it and I'm going to tell you about it in a second. The third thing I wanted to talk about is the mineral. It's the mineral magnesium. Magnesium. Now, magnesium is essential for more than some 300 processes in the body, including protein production, muscle and nerve function, blood pressure, energy production, and it also helps to regulate serotonin and therefore helps to boost mood. Now, just so that you know, around 68% of Americans do not consume enough magnesium. And even if you do, stress and anxiety reduce the effectiveness of it. So rather than talk about the benefits of taking magnesium, I just thought I would talk about signs that you may be low in magnesium. I think it's going to be pretty much like vitamin D. Remember when I had people contacting me telling me that they'd had, for years, they'd had hair thinning, aching bones, aching joints, only to be told by their doctors that, oh, well, you need to expect this because you're getting older. And in fact, they were low in vitamin D. And once they got their levels of vitamin D up, then their problems went away. And I think magnesium could well be the same. So, for example, if you suffer from migraine headaches, my mother suffered from migraine headaches an awful lot, where she had to lie in a darkened room sometimes for days. Could have been low magnesium. Muscle cramping, well, if you've ever suffered from that, thankfully, touch wood, I don't suffer from them a lot, but I have suffered from it, and it's like that kind of thing. Since I've been doing regular yoga, actually, I don't suffer from that. Just generally feeling down. I've mentioned the serotonin levels. If you eat a lot of processed foods, then chances are you are low in magnesium. If you have high blood pressure, that could be a cause. Magnesium could be a cause. And even if you're just generally tired and don't really know why, if you struggle falling asleep, irregular heartbeats can be down to low magnesium, and brittle bones. So this bone thing comes in quite a bit, doesn't it? And it's especially important, as I've said, for us aging females. Now, a review published in the Journal of American the American Osteopathic Association found that vitamin D cannot be metabolized without sufficient magnesium levels. Who knew? So this means that you could be taking all the vitamin D and thinking you're doing the right thing, but if your magnesium levels are low, which you wouldn't know about, then you are not getting the benefits you should be getting from vitamin D. I mean, this is just crucial. So this means as many as 50% of people taking vitamin D, it remains stored and inactive. Waste of time, money and effort. So magnesium is key. Now, I'm going to tell you what I'm taking, and I've always been loath to talk about my supplement. I take quite a few supplements actually, and loath to talk about it on YouTube because I was getting my supplements from here and there and a few on Amazon, and then reading quite a few comments about this is a fake product, or you're not getting what you think you're getting in this particular product, and how would you know anyway, and all of that. And so I was loath to be seen to be recommending anything that further down the line could be seen as fake goods or fake. I would hate that. So I've never talked about it until now, because now I've found a company who I've actually talked to, and I approached them. I've actually talked to who share my values of getting happy, living longer and growing younger. And they follow the science, which thrills me. Not only that, but when you go onto their website, you see the faces behind the people who are their advisory board, who give them their information. They also plough a lot of their profits back into the science, so they're cutting edge. They're really up to date with it, and all of their products are produced to GMP and ISO 9001 standards. All the products are manufactured and stored in cool, dark and dry environments, which is important. And I've seen their certificates, and I've even talked to them. This company is called Do Not Age. I know, it's a little bit Fountain of Youthy, isn't it? But it's, DNA. I thought that was quite cute. DNA, Do Not Age. And I'm taking quite a few supplements. I don't have time to talk about which other ones. I wanted to tell you this one because this is, at the moment, this is incredibly important, especially given what I said at the beginning of the video. So this is the drug that's not a drug. This is it that I was talking about at the beginning of the video. So if you want to send your money in, I'll send you your fortunes in. I'll send you one of these, except they don't cost a fortune. Of course they don't. This is vitamin D3, K2 and magnesium blended together in one tablet. Now, let me tell you what they say about this on their website. The vitamin D3 and vitamin K2 content is designed to enable calcium to be easily absorbed by the body. This prevents your arteries from hardening, keeps your heart and bones healthy, regulates blood clotting and supports a healthy immune system. And now we know about its links to dementia. The magnesium content is there to assist the vitamin D3 activation whilst also providing the potential to reduce dementia. So magnesium also, magnesium deficiency is responsible for many health problems, and they go on to say that magnesium intake is usually low in people who consume a modern diet, which is all of us. A high intake of magnesium massively reduces your risk of vitamin D deficiency. Without magnesium, vitamin D cannot be absorbed. So, in each capsule here, there are 5,000 IUs of vitamin D3, 120 micrograms of vitamin K2, and 250 milligrams of magnesium. Now, I've been taking them every day over the winter. I live in the north of England, well, mid to north of England, but it's cloudy anyway. And so I've been taking them every day. Now, at 5,000 I use every day of vitamin D. So over the summertime, I'm going to cut these down to one every other day. One every other day. Have I mentioned that that the cost of this for 60 tablets was $18, which is that £15, £14? If you go onto their website, which you should do because there's lots of interesting, like I say, they show the science and talk about it, and you want to start to take this, because if you're taking vitamin D, you should be taking K2 and magnesium, and how easy to do it all in one tablet. And you use the code Happy Stuff, you will get 10% off. This is not a sponsored video, and as I said, I contacted them when I'd done my research on the company. I contacted them and they've given me a 10% code for you to use, so thank you very much for that. Do not age. Right, I think that's possibly where I need to stop talking, because you're going to be thinking I'm just a waffler, and I'm not, except when I'm enthusiastic, and I am so enthusiastic about this. The blended tablet, to be able to take these three things all at once, is simple and easy, which I'm grateful for, but the study is amazing. Please tell me in the comments box below what you're thinking, if you're considering, or even if you're taking vitamin D, let me know. And if you are considering taking the magnesium, please let me know that too. Go on to donotage.org, and as soon as I can, I will talk about and let you know the other supplements I'm taking with reference to getting happy, living longer and growing younger. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.